Hello everyone. Have you found yourself getting a little nostalgic in this pandemic time? Have you wanted to cling to old family traditions? Maybe you've gone back to old videos and photographs. This is normal and healthy at a time like this, and it's an important part of finding a way through the chaos. I'm John, and I'm the founder and facilitator of evofaithcom and of the online spiritual community, the EvoFaith Tribe. If you're looking for an open and welcoming space to explore evolutionary spirituality and the interface between spirituality and science, then why not join us in the tribe? Membership is free. And if you find this video helpful, please like it, share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. When I was a very little boy, my family lived in Westfield, New Jersey for about three and a half years. The first home I remember is our home in Westfield. And after we returned to South Africa, I had very little contact with the US until 2007, where I went over to work with a colleague in Jackson, Mississippi. I flew into the US through Atlanta and then caught a connecting flight. But I remember getting off the plane at the Atlanta airport and the smell that came to me made me feel like I was at home. I don't know if you've noticed that countries seem to have a particular fragrance to them, and there was something about the air in the United States that on a subconscious level reminded me of my first home in Westfield, New Jersey, and I felt like I'd come home, even though I hadn't been there in decades. Memories have power, don't they? I kind of see them as part of our personal and collective mythology. Our memories speak truth. They remind us of who we are and where we come from. They shape our perspective and our expectations of the world, of others, even of ourselves. Sometimes memories can become a prison, locking us into unhealthy beliefs and patterns, but sometimes they can lead us to freedom and into our most fulfilling lives. The key is to engage with our memories mindfully. In traditional Christian spirituality, memory has served as an important spiritual practice. The Hebrew scriptures are constantly calling the people to remember their ancestors, Abram and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Leah, Rachel, and their children. The prophets constantly call the Israelites to remember the Exodus. In the Christian scriptures, Jesus at the Last Supper commands his disciples to do this to remember me. Remembering is such an important word in the scriptures. In the practice of lament, which we started exploring in the last video, memories have a very important place. I like to think of the practice of deliberately remembering as conscious recollection, consciously choosing to recollect things. Now, as we saw last time, lament starts with a complaint, and we spoke about creative complaining. But when we've done that well, as the next step, the first step toward hope and healing as we're going through our difficult times, is for us to look back on times when, to put it in biblical terms, God intervened and brought healing and deliverance and restoration. In evolutionary spirituality, we can think of remembering as a way to be connected with the history of the cosmos as we know it, but also to think about, to remember how evolutionary forces always work through what seems to us to be chaos or even destruction. And of course, remembering reminds us of how life and death are the twin forces that drive evolution forward. And so as we go through times of struggle, times of chaos, times of suffering, and we begin to use this practice of lament to process our grief, we come into this place of remembering, and we remember past times of struggle. We can remember how we navigated through difficult times before in our lives. We can remember how we found life even in the midst of our chaos. We can remember the serendipitous, the unexpected, we may even want to say the miraculous things that have helped us through our toughest times. And the role of remembering like this is to help us shift from despair and suffering to hope and creativity. Remembering opens us to new insights, ideas, and creativity that can guide us through our tough times. So what does this mean for us practically? Sometimes we want to skip over the complaint and go straight to the hope and healing. But really, the first thing we need to do is make sure that we've expressed our complaint, our pain and frustration as much and as specifically and creatively as possible. We don't ever really move on from complaining, but the point is not to get fixated on the negative. We complain and then we add the work of conscious recollecting, of deliberate remembering into the mix of our processing. Journaling can be a great tool for conscious recollection. It means we have a record to go back to when we need to. And so you may want to include journaling in your practice. But you can also just take time to meditate on your memories. Find a quiet place. Still yourself. And then just let your mind drift back. Think about times in the past when you've struggled with something similar to what you're going through in your current situation. Remember how it felt. Remember what you did and what you said. Be as specific as you can. And then let your memory show you what you did to navigate through and out of that past chaos. And then spend some time learning how you can apply those lessons even now. You don't have to believe in a God to find value in the practice of lament. But for me, it's helpful to be aware of the cosmic consciousness that is around us and within us. It's helpful to think of the evolutionary drive that moves the cosmos forward and brings life out of death. And when we connect with these forces that are bigger than ourselves, we may find the stirrings of hope in our hearts. And so I want to encourage you, as part of your conscious evolution, part of your evolutionary spirituality, to use the practice of remembering, of conscious recollection, to find hope and to guide you through your difficult times. I hope you find this helpful. Next time we'll talk a bit more about enlisting the help of the cosmos, so tune in for that. And once again, if you've enjoyed this, please hit the like button, share the video with anyone else who may find it helpful. And if you don't want to miss out on future videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button. See you next time.